Good morning, New York City. Welcome to Veterans Day at Gracie Mansion. At this point, I would invite you all to stand as the United States Air Force Color Guard presents the colors. Please remain standing for the singing of our national anthem. Today we are blessed to have Ms. Sade Thomas, who is a Marine Corps veteran studying at the John Jay College of Criminal Justice. Sade.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watch were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets reckless, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
How about a big round of applause for our Color Guard and our Heritage Winds Quintet? Thank you, United States Air Force. And now, to put us in the exact right spirit and tone for today's celebration, Chaplain Christopher Alexander, United States Air Force, will now come and deliver the invocation. Chaplain.
Let us pray. Almighty God, we give you thanks this morning for our nation's veterans and all those who serve our great nation. We honor them for their faithful service in defending and preserving our freedom. We're grateful for those over the centuries who have sacrificed so very much for us to live in peace today. We ask that you bless them and grant them with the peace that surpasses all understanding. We thank you, God, for all our veterans, for those of generations past and present. May we never forget what our country has asked of them and what they have given in return. We ask that you bless our fellowship this morning. We pray these things in your holy name. Amen.
Good morning. I feel so blessed to serve as the first commissioner of the Department of Veterans of Services here in New York City. Thank you so much for being here. We're thrilled to see so many familiar faces on this beautiful Veterans Day. I want to give a special thanks to the mayor and first lady for hosting this event today in their home, Gracie Mansion. And how about that chow, gang? Give them a break. It is now my pleasure to introduce someone who truly is a leader here in New York City. As First Lady of New York City, Chirlane McCray has redefined the role of First Lady, managing a robust portfolio to advance an ambitious agenda in support of all New Yorkers. Nationally recognized as a powerful champion for mental health reform, Ms. McCray created Thrive NYC, the most comprehensive mental health plan of any city or state in the nation. Of course, that brings special joy to this old soldier psychiatrist. Chirlane also spearheads the city's Thrive Coalition of Mayors, with representation from nearly 200 cities from all 50 states, advocating for a more integrated and better funded behavioral health system. We are truly blessed as a city to have Chirlane fighting on behalf of us all. Please join me in welcoming the First Lady of New York City, Chirlane McCray.
You make sure the people in front can see. All right. Good morning, everyone. Good morning. Welcome to Gracie Mansion. This is the people's house. This is your house, and you are always welcome here. I want to thank the Commissioner Brigadier General Sutton for that kind introduction and for your amazing leadership. Thank you. We have no greater champion for our city's veterans and for our families. The Commissioner works tirelessly to make sure that those who bravely serve our country get the support they need here at home. I thank you all for your service. We praise you who sacrificed your freedoms to safeguard your own. Today, as we honor our veterans, I know there are countless stories and sacrifices that have gone untold. My own father was a veteran of World War II and rarely spoke of his years of service. Indeed, it wasn't until after he had passed away that I stumbled upon a photo of him in his Army uniform, and he was in Rome. Until then, I had no idea that he had served in Italy. My mother, too, did her part for the war effort, working at the Springfield, Massachusetts Armory. But she also never talked about that time in her life. Maybe they did not care to relive those memories, or perhaps they thought we were too young and too removed to possibly understand that time and what they had experienced. In any case, it is a gap in the narrative of their lives during a significant time in our country's history that I wish I knew much more about. So I am grateful to the many wonderful organizations dedicated to telling those stories, like the members of the Brooklyn chapter of the National Association of Black Military Women, who have joined us today. Welcome. And I'm grateful to all of you who gather each year on this day to honor your stories, both known and unknown, and all those who have served. Our returned veterans do so much for our city and for our country. They start businesses, they serve as firefighters, police officers, educators. I know there's one here who became mayor, and another who became a Congress member, and some go on to become astronauts. The sky is the limit. They lead and support charities and fight for social progress. And as we come together this Veterans Day, it is also time to remember that however veterans move on, with or without physical disabilities, there are sometimes invisible wounds that too often go unseen and untreated. Nearly a quarter of our city's vets suffer from post-traumatic stress disorder or major depression. Most do not seek help or treatment because of stigma or because they just don't know where to turn. And that has to change. It's up to us, to all of us, to change it. One of the new resources we have here in New York City is 1-888-NYC-WELL. It is a free and confidential 24-hour mental health helpline. Anyone who is in emotional distress can call and talk with a trained counselor and get connected to the help they need. You can call for yourself, or you can call for a family member or a friend, anyone you know who is suffering, to get help and understanding about what you can do to help. That number again is 1-888-NYC-WELL, and we need you to help spread the word. Can you please say the number with me? You can think of it as an order. The number is 1-888-NYC-WELL. One more time, 1-888-NYC-WELL. Remember, it's free, and reaching out for help is an act of strength. It takes great courage to reach out when you're in personal pain, to share that pain, but reaching out is the first step to healing. And so we want to make it as easy as possible for people who are struggling to connect to the support that they need. Together, we must make sure every veteran knows that there is always hope and there is always help. The men and women who have served our country deserve praise, and if needed, a helping hand. And we must do all we can to assist them. We have to have their backs, just as they have always had ours. The man who is going to speak next strives every day to give back to our veterans and to honor their sacrifices with action. And so it is my privilege to introduce my partner in all things and our mayor, Bill de Blasio.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome, everybody, to Gracie Mansion. We are so happy to have you here. You know, I'm going to use a famous classic phrase. It's cold outside, but our hearts are warm in here, because we are celebrating our veterans. We're honoring them. We're expressing our appreciation to all who have served us and protected us. First, I have to just thank my wife. You could hear the passion in her voice when she talks about making sure that the stigma surrounding mental health is defeated so that everyone can get the help they need. And nowhere is that more important than when it comes to serving our veterans. How wrong it is that people who did so much for us, including enduring such painful realities that leave them with stresses and real mental health challenges, that then they suffer stigma on top of that. We've got to break that. Everyone who served us deserves all the help they need, including all the mental health help they need. Let's thank Charlene for all she's doing to make sure that becomes a reality. I want to acknowledge and thank members of my administration who are with us. It is a labor of love for them to be here honoring our veterans. Why don't you, I'm going to call out the names. You can applaud them all in one big round of applause. Our Deputy Mayor, Richard Bury, our Oath Commissioner, Fidel Del Valle, of course, our Veteran Services Commissioner, Lori Sutton. I'll talk about her in a moment. The Executive Director of the Commission on Gender Equity, Jacqueline Ebanks, our Chief Service Officer, Paula Gavin, and the Chief of Staff to our First Lady, Roxanne John. Let's thank them all for all they do for the city. Now, this is a big event every year, and some real stars come out to it, including a proud Marine who I had the honor to serve when he was mayor of this great city, and as he always reminded me, once a Marine, always a Marine. Let us thank David Dinkins for all he's done for his country and for this city. And another very proud veteran whose stamp, not only on this city but on this nation, is felt every day to this day as a matter of fairness for so many Americans. The work of Congressman Charlie Rangel lives on. Thank you, Charlie, for being here. And one more particular star in every sense, but a star doesn't do him justice because he is a hero as well. So, you know those moments in life, you remember where you were when something really extraordinary in history happened? So when that team went up into space and landed on the moon and changed the way we think about our place in the universe, I remember that moment so vividly. And those astronauts, they were heroes of a type we had never seen before, and their bravery inspired us all, and to have one of them with us is a very, very special honor. I want to welcome to Gracie Mansion Buzz Aldrin for all he's done for this country. You know, in this role, I'm honored to meet a lot of very special people, but I was totally starstruck and tongue-tied and humbled to meet Buzz Aldrin as a hero from my childhood. So Buzz, God bless you, brother. God bless you for all you've done. We also all deserve a nickname like Buzz. That's a really good name. Want to thank people who we celebrate in particular today. First of all, someone who makes this wonderful event that we're all about to attend possible through his extraordinary work, the President of the United War Veterans Council, Dan McSweeney. Let's thank him. Of course, we are so honored to have the leaders of the military who are here with us. I want to thank Rear Admiral Stephen Evans, Commander of the Carrier Strike Group 2 of the U.S. Navy. Thank you, Admiral, for being here with us. From the Army, Major General Mark W. Palzer, the Commanding General of the 79th Sustainment Support Command. General, thank you so much for joining us. We're also honored to have with us General Ellen Pawlikowski. Thank you, General, for all you do for this nation. Lieutenant Christopher Alexander for the wonderful words at the beginning of the invocation. We thank you so much. And of course, Sade Thomas for leading us in the national anthem. Thank you. Another proud Marine. A deep appreciation to the elected officials who have joined us. Congresswoman Carolyn Maloney, thank you for your leadership. Borough President Gail Brewer, Assemblymember Joanne Simon, Councilmember Matthew Eugene, and the District Attorney of the Bronx, Darcel Clark. Thank you all so much. You can see the Bronx is in the house. I'm going to be very quick, but I want to say what should be said on a day like this. We need to do more than just pay tribute. It's always a conundrum. You know, the ceremonies are so important, the honors are so important, but there's something much deeper we have to do, and as a nation and a society, we still have a long way to go. The good news is people are talking about more and more what we owe our veterans and recognizing where we've all fallen short. And Charlene talked about her dad and the experience I had with my dad. It is so powerful when you're young hearing the stories of those who served in wartime. My dad served in the U.S. Army, 7th Division in World War II. He volunteered after Pearl Harbor. He served in the Pacific in a number of landings in Leyte Gulf and Kwajalein, the Aleutian Islands, but ultimately on Okinawa, where he lost half of his leg to a Japanese grenade. And as a child, Sometimes he wanted to talk about and sometimes he didn't. And I now understand that a little bit better. Sometimes it was too painful. Sometimes he wanted to try and forget. Other times he expressed his pride in his service. And he certainly expressed the love he felt for his comrade in arms. The fact is, my dad spent the rest of his life trying to make sense of everything he had seen. And those of you who know your history know what happened on Okinawa and how hard it is for any human being to make sense of that kind of loss and that kind of pain. And my dad struggled. Very capable, accomplished man, but he struggled, and he never quite could overcome everything he carried with him from that war. Well, let's face it, everyone has their own path. Some cope better than others, some find the help they need, some don't. Our job is to make sure that helping hand is there and there's no stigma and there's no delay and it's everywhere. And that's what we've tried to do here. We understand it's not easy. It's certainly incredibly hard to serve in those circumstances and come back, because we all know, we honestly know in a way we didn't know when I was growing up, certainly, and Shirlene was growing up. We didn't know the war continued for those good men and women. We didn't know that the families continued to live the consequences of the war. We just didn't know, but now we do. And we have to serve people with that understanding. And I tell you, when I meet the families, I don't feel any differentiation. I have such respect for those who have served, but I have equal respect for the families who supported them every step of the way, and the families who support them when they come back, and the families who share in the consequences of war. I met with some of the Gold Star families before this gathering, and when I do, it always pulls at my heart, but also makes me feel a sense of recommitment to them because of everything that they do for all of us. Let's thank all the Gold Star families who are here. So, before I turn back to Lori Sutton, I'll just say this simply. After the ceremony, on to the action in this city, and Lori's been such an important part of this. We looked at it, and we said, okay, here are the goals. Let's have that same purposefulness and that sense of achieving what must be achieved that our men and women in uniform have. We had to end chronic veteran homelessness. I'm proud to say we did that in this city. But that doesn't mean there aren't still some times where a veteran is homeless, and that's still unacceptable. And our job is to reach every single one. Even if they're only temporarily homeless, it's not acceptable. We got to get them to what they deserve. We've got to give them the mental health treatment they need, whoever they are. They deserve that. We've got to help connect veterans to jobs, public sector and private sector alike. We've got more to do to open the door wide for some of the folks. I can guarantee you from my own experience, if you want the job done right, if you want devotion, if you want focus, if you want energy, hire a veteran. That's what we all have to tell everybody we meet, hire a veteran. So that is what we are here to remember, that's our mission now. They went on a mission. A lot of you went on a mission. That's our mission. It's a simple one. Every day, what can we do to give back, to be part of being as good in any small way as they have been to us? So everyone, thank you for gathering on this important day. I know we're all looking forward to getting down to the parade and the ceremony before it. I'm going to turn the program back over to General Sutton or Commissioner Sutton. You choose what title you like best. You can call her Lori. She's got a lot of names. But I'll tell you one thing. New York City was blessed the day she decided to join us as our Commissioner for Veteran Services. And her love and her devotion to men and women in uniform and men and women who have served is so clear. Her desire to make sure things are made right. That's what animates her. And as I always say about Lori Sutton, whatever she's eating for breakfast, I want to eat some because she's got a lot of energy. Ladies and gentlemen, General Lori Sutton.
Well, thank you, Mr. Mayor. Here's the deal, gang. We got some power gratitude that I'm going to go through. Hold your applause. And then I'm going to introduce our special guest speaker from the Air Force. So hold on. Here we are. First of all, flanked by our Gold Star families. We owe you so much. Thank you for being here. Flanked by our elected officials. Yes, let's give the Gold Star families a... We also have veterans in our midst who have served in World War II. Please let us give them a round of applause. Today's a great day, and I will say, Mr. Mayor, without your leadership, this would not be possible. We are doing in New York City what no other city has yet done on behalf of its service members, veterans, and their families. We have built a new agency devoted solely to veterans, the Department of Veteran Services. I want everyone in this new department, raise your hand, families too. There you go. Give them a great round of applause. One of our first initiatives coming out of the gate, the mayor mentioned it, he kicked it off in May, and that is Veterans on Campus. We are so pleased today. We've got college presidents with us, we've got leaders, we've got student veteran coordinators, we got Shade Thomas singing our national anthem. Thank you for being here. So let me just say that I am so entirely blessed to serve as commissioner. And let me just say that for as good as it's been, and as far as we've come, and what we're going to be seeing just in a very short bit with the Veterans Parade, you ain't seen nothing yet. So hang on, gang. And now, let me introduce our featured speaker. The Air Force is our honored service this year. General Ellen Polakowski serves as commander of the Air Force Materiel Command at the Wright-Patterson Air Force Base in Ohio. The command employs some 80,000 people, manages $60 billion annually, executing the critical mission of warfighter support through leading-edge science and technology. She's also a 4-star general and a woman. That's a big dang. Please join me in welcoming General Polakowski.
Well, thank you. First of all, I want to thank you, Mayor de Blasio, and General Sutton, because I love it when I can call a fellow woman general. So, I'm a North Jersey girl. Grew up in the suburbs of Newark, and my sister's out there in the crowd with me. And I have to tell you, Mayor, I never thought I'd have the opportunity to come to Gracie Mansion. You know, for years I watched this parade on television and never really quite understood what it all meant, but I sure understand that now. And so thank you so much for giving me the opportunity to be part of this great celebration and to come home for just a little while and mark that off my bucket list to get to Gracie Mansion. But this year, it's also my pleasure to be here because we in the Air Force are celebrating a birthday. It was 70 years ago that we became a separate service and stepped just a little bit away from our big brother, the Army. And for the last 70 years, we have had airmen breaking barriers all over in technology and diversity, and everyone from General Chuck Yeager, who broke that first barrier, the sound barrier, a mere month or two after we became a separate service, to Colonel Buzz Aldrin, who I think you could also agree broke a pretty significant barrier as he shared that walk. And so today, there are 500,000 airmen, active duty, National Guard, and Air Force Reserve, that are out there protecting our freedoms and challenging to continue that legacy of breaking barriers. And I don't know how many barriers, what barriers they will break, because we have such great innovative Americans that are willing to put this uniform on and serve to protect our freedom. But I do know two things about those 500,000 airmen. One, I think we all want to do everything we can to make sure that they come home safe. And the second thing is that when they come home, it's heartening to know for me that if they come to New York City, not only will they be welcomed with open arms, but also with a helping hand. So thank you for letting me participate in this activity.
Thank you so much, General Polakowski. Stirring words, words to live by. You were honored by your presence today, and we're honoring your service. So now, gang, the moment you've been waiting for, we are now going to vamoose to the parade. But first, I must thank the United War Veterans Council, Dan McSweeney, and the Gray Line Bus Company, who taking us down. Also our sponsors, Coca-Cola, History Channel, and the New York Mets. Gang, know that you are part of a very special group, a very special community. You can be the first on your block to say you had breakfast with Buzz Aldrin and World War II veterans. Happy, happy Veterans Day, New York City. Thank you so much. God bless.